Robots Radio presents
Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast.
I'm not usually a hat fan, but wow.
Jeg vil ikke være en dagger!
I'm really sipping on that dumb bitch juice today, and
Yeah, I am. But you know what? Someday I just might grow out of that, but you will never stop being a jerk.
All chocolate cakes are good. You're a fascist.
it's hideous.
It's horrible.
It's home. Angry white boy, let's go! It's a me. Okay.
It's me, Simone LaRue.
I've got like a weird chaos energy going today. I don't know. I've literally never done that in my life.
Now I'm inspired to just speak only in fake Italian.
Yeah, that's this podcast. It's the fake Italian episode.
Because we all know all Italians are secret closet cases. It's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hello, and welcome to Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast, the proudest little rainbow flag that there ever was. That's Chad Ekowitz.
That's Simone LaRue with the cutest opening ever. And today we have a special guest, Justin Sampson, also known as Confessa Murder. Welcome back, friend.
Yay, welcome back. I'm so
Thanks
excited.
for having me. I'm excited to talk about this because I know that this is probably like Chad's favorite movie to watch. So
Oh yeah. Yeah. When I go onto Netflix or Amazon in an evening, I just go the gayest movies, please. But specifically with like a subcategory of being really problematic.
Yes.
You know, which is a really interesting dynamic to have is a gay movies that are also incredibly problematic. I think it's beautiful that we have dug so deep into movie history that we've come up with these movies. I'm so proud of us, guys. So very proud of us.
nice pat on the back.
We all, yeah.
But speaking of Pride, this is our Pride episode coming off of the back of Pride Month. We are now celebrating all things Pride because why the hell not? You know, it's a great season. Yeah. You know, we should be celebrating these kind of things, these diversities and inclusions and all this kind of stuff because it is so fucking important, especially in the movie world. And I know you guys agree with this. Yes?
Yes. And
No,
I do
absolutely
believe this
not.
Episode... Fuck 'em.
Keep it white and cis. Let's go.
I think this episode actually is coming out like the day after the anniversary of the Stonewall riots.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What talk about timing? That's pretty grand.
Yeah, we definitely did that on purpose. And I did realize that while I was doing a quick Google search today.
You see how the stars all align for all of us to get together and talk about it.
Serendipity.
You guys are just throwing out the sweetest little things, little, you know, the smallest little pride flag, serendipity of the stars. You guys are just on fire with your prose today. It makes me very, very happy. Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful episode this is going to be. I'm so happy. So Simone, what movies
brings it out in me, I guess.
So what movies are we doing today, Simone?
Oh God, we are doing, I think, two very different shining examples of how not to do gay movies. We are doing 2015's Stonewall, and we are doing another gay movie.
I mean, I love the idea of the name Another Gay Movie because it implies that there was a gay movie to start with.
There were many before it.
Yes, and this is just another one in the long line of things, but there isn't. This is the first gay movie in the gay movies franchise because there is another gay movie after this movie.
Oh no, is there a sequel?
There is a sequel, which I will be watching this afternoon just because I love these movies so very much.
You're braver than me, sir.
Well, what the straights don't actually know is that there have been lots of gay movies before this one.
No, I don't think that's
y'all weren't
true.
paying attention.
I don't think.
Yeah, I think you're wrong.
I think you're wrong.
Yeah. Sorry, this is the first gay movie because it was in the title. So
yeah.
First another gay movie.
Yeah.
So as our guest, we will ask you to choose which movie you want to do first, which movie you want to review first. But before we do get into that, what is everyone drinking today?
I'll start. I'm having a nice rosé.
Oh,
It's a
very
beautiful
chill.
sunny day outside. I'm feeling festive. This might be the most colorful shirt I own.
It's
Uh,
gorgeous.
So why not a pink drink?
I like it. I very much like it. Yeah. How about you, Justin? What's you drinking?
At 9
Well,
a.m.
Yeah. At
well,
9
I know
a.m.
that I'm not like dragged out or anything today, but I did wanted to show you guys something real quick.
Yes.
And especially for the people who like to listen in,
This
come
is
watch
gonna
the
be
YouTube video for just 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But I've actually, this is my prize to you guys for Pride Month.
Oh my
Ooh.
god.
fun.
Holy fuck.
Oh,
Those are
amazing.
gorgeous.
Those shoes.
Yeah.
Look at those.
Yay.
Oh my god. I would love to describe to
Guys.
our audience what we're seeing right now, but
They're
it's
like
almost like
these-
looking at the fucking
You could
the what are the things that the Bible thingies, you know, the 10 commandments, the fucking in the Ark of the
Thou
Covenant.
shalt
what it's
only
like.
wear heels.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
And better thine be hooker.
Oh, those are stunning. They
you could
like
murder someone with that heel too.
Confessa Murder. There you go. It all
Mhm.
comes together. It goes to the top.
This-
That's gorgeous.
Always on brand.
Oh my goodness.
But anyway, I'm drinking. So I actually ended up ordering from Dunkin' Donuts today. So
Nice.
I got this like blackberry pomegranate tea thing, and I just put a bunch
Oh.
of vodka that they make with maple syrup here in it, and then a little bit of
Oh,
Sprite.
maple
on
syrup
top.
vodka sounds delicious.
Yes.
You
So-
this is why I love having you on, because you always come with that really strong energy. I mean,
Yeah.
in the,
Like you're having a
literally
whole ass
span
cocktail.
of
Mhm.
3 minutes, you've just given us, you know, we asked for a spoon, you've given us fucking soup. That was gorgeous. You gave us these beautiful boots. Then you told us about the Dunkin' Donuts
A
tea thing,
cocktail
which was just
recipe.
outrageous. And then you put maple syrup fucking vodka in it. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know
It
you
is
could
here in
do
Vermont.
that. God
I
bless
know, right?
America.
I mean, we can just
Mind
end this here.
blown.
This is quality content.
I love it. I love it.
And I don't care if that's only 9:20 in the morning right now.
It's
We're
a Sunday. It's fine.
I'm joining in on
exactly.
Sunday
Lord's
Fun
Day.
Day.
I mean, that's the point of being an adult, right? Is no one can really tell you what to do. So you live your best.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Yeah. To add to our cocktail recipe, Simone, for the end of the
Yes.
year when we do our cocktail book, this is simply a tequila sun. Because as you can see from it, there is no
Didn't have
sunrise in it.
grenadine.
I didn't have any grenadine, so it's just orange juice, a little bit of pineapple juice, and tequila. So we're just calling it the tequila sun.
Go on.
Love it. I love it.
And it's just delightful. Fuck it, it's orange juice and tequila. You know, I swore I would never drink tequila
Delicious.
again, and I would never drink it straight.
I
But
don't understand. I'm like the only one of our friends that I think like hasn't almost died because of tequila. So I actually really like tequila. But no one will drink it with me ever.
I'll drink
No.
it with you. And we don't have to drink
Oh,
it straight
thank you.
either. We can drink it gay, honey.
that was gorgeous.
Oh, I really want to know what that's like. Thank you.
You don't want to be in this head of mine, because as you've seen, like when I'm judging the murder house stories and shit, it's like there's a lot of
I-
going on.
I feel you now that I'm also helping critique. I definitely feel that headspace.
Mm,
Oh man. All right.
I
Well,
only
now
read
that
so many stories about people eating someone for Christmas dinner.
I know.
Oh.
What the hell? It was a trend alert. Like half of them all
Yeah.
wrote about putting someone into dinner for Christmas.
Oh wow. Okay.
Or Thanksgiving, or what was the other one? I
Yeah.
think one was
Like New Year's.
there was a
I don't know.
420 one that was really fun.
The 421 was very good. Yeah, it was one of the themes for the latest cycle. It was holiday horror.
Lovely. And people just naturally went to the whole cannibalism side of things.
Went to cannibalism
Not a bad-
immediately.
yeah,
No
not
second
not a bad
thoughts.
thing.
That's what I think. That's what I think about holiday horror.
Yeah.
When I'm decking the halls and you know
Oh, I hope this roast isn't a
setting the
person.
table. Right.
You know what? It's like
people.
But I would like to say it's what we've always been saying since the beginning of this podcast. But let's be fair. I don't want to include you in this moment. But we've always said, eat the rich, feed the poor. So I guess it just adds to that. You know, let's cook up some Jeff
Free
Bezos.
range,
Have him.
ethically sourced.
Yes. Num, 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 num. I'm pretty sure rich people would taste incredible. All that fatty meat.
I can't wait to read your story on that next cycle.
It will happen. I'm finishing my
That's
degree,
Chad.
so I will be
Yes,
be able to be
that's
involved.
true.
So that's good.
I can't wait to eliminate you first. It's gonna be fun.
Oh, well, that's real nice. No, I'm totally not gonna do
A
it.
year getting Chad to join and then just be like, no.
Nah. He's a shit writer. It's fine. We shouldn't have asked him. This is awkward as hell.
You ruined
I've
it.
been on
You
your
ruined it all.
podcast twice. It's fine.
Look, I would appreciate being voted out just on the basis of like I'm not a fan of nepotism and I don't believe you're nepotistic. So I
She is
appreciate
not.
that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no problem.
All right. So what movie do you want us to do first? What is your feeling? What is your vibe?
I'm thinking we could talk about Stonewall first, and then
Interesting.
head into
Okay,
yeah, let's get the
another
big one
game
out the
movie.
way.
Because I feel like Stonewall, it tackles a lot of serious topics, and at least another game movie will like
Tackles
lighten
very
the
few
mood.
topics at all.
What are you talking about?
And everything.
Another Game movie was the most topical movie of our time. It's our Citizen Kane. I don't get it.
I took notes on a couple of this, especially on another game movie, actually. So we'll
Oh.
get to that.
You took notes. That's more than
That's
we
impressive. It was burnt into my brain forever. So there
And
are
all-
my notes.
And also, to be fair about Stonewall, I about halfway through it, I started smoking a bunch of weed, so I don't remember like how it functionally ended, but I understand. I know the gist.
Okay.
do. Yeah, don't worry.
That's
You're
fair.
about to find out.
Someone's gonna spin you a yarn, and it'll
Sure
be right.
am. Okay. Danny Winters, played by Jeremy Irvine, is a kid who got outed in his small hometown in the 60s, and he runs away to New York because his family has kicked him out. When he's there, he goes to... what's the name of the street again?
Christopher Street.
Christopher Street.
Christopher
Thank you.
Street.
I was going like Patrick. I don't know. Doing great, Simone. Okay.
You're on it. This is what editing's for, babe.
He goes to Christopher Street, which is famous for its density of gay bars and slightly like safer places for the gay community. There he meets Ray, played by Johnny Beauchamp, and he sort of starts like hanging out with the community there. It's a lot of sex workers, it's a lot of trans women, but mainly the ones he hangs out with are like the conventionally attractive cis young, pretty looking ones. I'm not going to mention his other friends because they don't matter. They don't really do much. They're just sort of there.
Yeah.
So basically it's like his descent into this world. And I say descent because it is portrayed as that. And he hangs out a lot at the Stonewall Inn. There he meets Jonathan Rhys Meyers. No, he meets Trevor, played by Jonathan Rhys Meyers. Trevor is part of like a gay rights group, and they're very much about like, no, we need to like have these meetings and like make this slow progress over time. And initially Johnny's like all up on that, but then he's like, actually things are really shit now. So yeah, lots and lots of back and forth. He meets Marsha P. Johnson briefly, played by
Oh, they did that
Atoja
dirty.
Abbott.
They did it so dirty.
Oh yeah, lots of stuff happens. Eventually though, it culminates in the Stonewall riots, which actually play a very small part in this movie. That lasts about 10 minutes. Danny's like, oh, I feel great that like we're fighting for our rights. This is amazing. He goes back to his hometown. He gets closure. He goes to college. He's very much not super interested in lifting his new friends, like, or like helping them out in any way. And what we see is like, he reconciles with his mother and the guy who outed him. And then he's taking place in the first Pride Parade a year after the Stonewall riots. And his mom and his sister are there supporting him. And it feels like things are going to start changing. I skipped a lot of the middle because it's really clunky and ridiculous.
It has
and
nothing to do
ultimately
with
useless.
yeah, it has nothing to do with Stonewall, and I mean we will get
No.
into that. But first, what is your cliffhanger
Yeah.
for this one?
So it's gonna be this one, and it's when he's talking to Ray after he's like come to get his stuff so he can move in with Trevor, and
Mhm.
Ray's like, "Oh, so this is just like a short little like touristy interlude for you, and it's gonna be like a fun story." And that's treated like I feel like the movie treats it as something very irrational and like
Mhm.
Ray's being unreasonable and cruel and petty, but it's like a very valid point.
Yeah.
And ultimately that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're very right, especially because the guy was talking in the beginning when they like first got into the room, and he's talking about moving to California and how they like he can
Yeah.
chill at home while Ray goes to college and everything.
Yeah.
Like he's literally described moving on up, and then Ray goes and does it, and it's like, how the fuck could you? How dare you? How dare you do this thing?
You're talking, Danny's the one who
Oh,
moves
sorry,
on
Danny.
it. Ray's,
Yeah, sorry, Danny.
Ray's the friend that he
Yeah.
forgets about.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Ray, super stunning. Just as an aside, I know you mentioned it.
Johnny
as sort
Beauchamp
of
did
in the beginning.
actually an amazing job. Like, there's a lot to not like in this movie, but I think Johnny's performance was really solid.
Oh, he smashed it. He smashed it. But yeah. Anyway, what are your feelings, Confessor? Tell us. Tell us your feelings. Go nuts. You're off the chain.
All right. I'm gonna tell you what was good about the movie.
Yeah. Let's start with that.
All right. And the answer to me is Ray.
Yes.
The shining light of this movie.
And that's about it. So the thing about this movie is that when we talk about LGBT, we're talking about like our identity as a community. And the irony of this movie is that it lacks an identity. Like it doesn't know what genre it wants to be. First, it's this historical fiction about the uprising at Stonewall, but then it becomes some sort of like weird quasi romance story, which then turns into some weird detective story, which then turns into like murder mystery for whatever reason with the detective crime thriller, and then suddenly it was Gone with the Wind again, and I'm like, what the fuck? What is this movie? I was screaming at the TV and I was like, what do you want from me?
Pick something.
You're so right. You're so right. And
totally.
it's the most frustrating thing as well, because of the fact that it's given this name, that's very powerful name that a lot of people know and sort of associate with such an integral an integral point in the LGBTQ plus sort of movement. To give it that name, that strong gravitas name, and then just be like, "Now we're not going to talk about it that much. We're going to follow these two."
It's just a bar he goes to a couple times.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
literally it.
It's like calling a movie the Titanic and then talking about two people in Belfast just having the best time of their lives, like, and just following
or like
them
two
while they
people
chill.
fucking in a car, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So yes, I completely get where you're coming from. It doesn't like pinpoint the thing, and then it also just chooses the wrong thing to pinpoint.
Like this could have just been like maybe a lovely gay romance where like, oh yeah, he was at Stonewall too. But like mostly it's about like his journey, and that's fine. Then just don't call it Stonewall. Call it literally
that's exactly
anything else.
what I think too.
Call it a gay movie, and then it makes sense with another gay movie.
I definitely did not appreciate that I was watching Stonewall featuring the Stonewall. Like, it like showed up in like 2 scenes of the whole movie for like 30 seconds each because they were dancing with each other.
Yeah,
But
the ultimate, like the significance of Stonewall, like why it was an important place and why it meant so much to people, and like why it was so horrible that it got raided all the time, and especially this time, and like all of the significance of it is like a cultural like meeting ground and like a safe space for so many people, like is not shown or discussed. Like it's just a fun illegal bar everyone goes to. Yeah.
And they also kind of ruin it in itself. Like they paint it as this like sort of den of ill repute, in the fact that, it's run by mobsters. And yes, it was run by mobsters, and that's kind of why it was a thing. But it also makes it look like a really shitty place. you know, it makes it
I mean,
look,
it was shitty.
yeah, it was shitty, but like not shitty
But,
as
like,
in, like
yeah.
run down, but shitty as in bad. Like it paints a very negative
Yeah.
view of what Stonewall actually was. And then there's that scene where the riots start to happen, and you've got the police trapped inside, and it makes the rioters, it makes the protesters look like the bad guys. Like it's so nuts that you've got these dirty cops, and they look like the
Yeah.
victims in that scene, and you're
This
just
is
like,
a
what
very
the fuck?
sympathetic movie to cops. Like,
Yeah.
Especially since the main character is completely fictional,
Yes.
and
Yes.
was not there.
Oh.
Not only that, but he's cis and white, and this all-American
Conventionally very handsome
from a
like-
conservative home,
Yeah.
just got caught blowing his friend. Girl, please, if I had a dime for every time I was caught blowing my friend.
Who among us hasn't?
But you know, we're talking about the times, right? These
Yeah.
this director, I think whoever it was, the writers,
yeah, I was gonna talk about him. Yeah.
They included this historical information, which means that like they know what they did to this movie, like on purpose. And
Totally.
and what really like irks me is that all the true historical facts that are actually coming through, you would only know it if you had actually done research beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know if you had never heard about the Stonewall before. It's not informative. It doesn't talk about what the Stonewall was and what it meant to a bunch of gays. It just showed them congregated in there and then getting raided. Like,
yeah.
So, not to mention that like all of the stuff that's like put into the movie, like through dialogue and stuff, like, well, they sell watered down drinks. I'm like, I've seen this documentary already. It's like they did the basic Wikipedia search on Stonewall and said, we're gonna put that in.
Didn't have fire escapes or running water. Like,
they had running water. It was just all over the floor.
I've been to bars like that. I actually wanted to talk about the director quickly because I was researching, obviously, for this episode. So Roland Emmerich is a gay director, but his best known work is White House Down. So he's actually built a career out of making movies geared towards straight white men.
Okay, I mean, look, you've got to know your audience, I guess.
So what an odd choice to direct Stonewall, like a guy who's done like super straight action movies. And then sort of what bothered me when I was reading the interviews, because like his whole thing was like, no, I wanted to make this movie like easy for like straight people to digest. Like I wasn't making this for the gay, and it was like, wow, this movie came out in 2015, dude. Like, yeah. There are lots of different storytelling techniques you can use to make it like more accessible to more people. There's lots of but then the thing that irks me the most is I read an interview where he was talking about his sexuality and how like he actually hasn't really struggled at all as a gay director. He was just like very openly gay from the start, and like it's never been a problem for him. And I was like, but it's because of the people who are like, it's exactly because of like events at Stonewall that like you are able to live your life like this. And like to then turn around and be like, I actually need to make this story more palatable for straight white people is insane.
Yeah, it's incredibly insulting. It really is. And to call it Stonewall as well. I mean, that is a like a big task. That is. And I mean, I said it during your synopsis, but they did Marsha P. Johnson dirty in this. Jesus.
Oh, you mean when she's like not even really there, and
she's there for like 5 minutes throughout the whole movie. It's watching that, we're like, it kind of triggered me just a little bit because like as someone who did research projects at school on Stonewall and actually have been to the Stonewall Inn in over in New York City about a couple years ago, I actually got to visit it, and just being inside of it for me was so like just amazing and overwhelming at the same time, because like it was shut down for so long, and then they had renovated it to open it up to the public not too long ago, maybe about 10-15 years ago. And stuff. So it was just overwhelming. And to stand in a place such as that, and where like something so powerfully historic took place in that location, only for the director to sort of like take a dump all over it, really pisses me off.
Totally.
Like Marsha P. Johnson is barely there. Sylvia Riviera is not in the movie at all.
Not at all.
Stormy Delivery, we don't even know if that was her. It was said in the actual like in the history books that Stormy Delivery was actually the person who helped incite the actual the initial spark of it when she escaped the arrest of the cop about 4 times, and then she kept getting caught and being shoved into the police car, and then finally she was like, "What are you all standing there for? Why don't you do something?" And that's when like they said all hell broke loose right after she said that. And in the movie it shows some white cis butch lesbian person, who
barely butch.
We don't even know who she is. And
No.
like somebody who did the research, I'm like, is that supposed to be Stormy? Like, what the fuck?
It's not.
First of all, Stormy was half African American. And second,
no, I mean, like the whitewashing in this movie.
Oh my god, incredible!
Absolutely
incredibly
insane to me.
Wow, it's like putting mayonnaise on a sandwich. It was unbelievable.
Like,
yeah, and it really. I don't know how they could get away with it. That's the thing as well. Like, to be such a sympathizing movie of the cops and also the mobsters. Like, it was sort of just like, thank God the mobsters were there to give the gays a bar. And it's like, what the fuck? No, this was like a fucking exploitation and a good way to money launder. It had nothing to do with them being gay. Like, it's completely bonkers to be like, yes, go mob in a gay pride movie. It's fucking bonkers.
It kind of paints the LGBT community as like criminalistic,
Exactly. Totally. It totally does.
They mentioned how like it was owned by the mafia in the bar, but they don't specifically talk about the family that owns it, which they owned not just Stonewall, but they own like a whole bunch of them over in New York City. That and they would get tipped off a lot by the police officers when the police would come and raid. So they get money under the table for it, until I think there was the mayor had issued an executive order to the police at that time to do an additional raid that week, even though there had been a raid already before, like earlier that week. And the police got extra frisky with the patrons and everything. And so as they were like being shoved out, there were still some people left inside the bar when some of the police officers got stuck inside of it because of the mob. So, but like the reason why it all like came to a head is because of the government's treatment of homosexuality to begin with, and the police that were totally enabling it. So enough for when there's enough frustration building in a community of people, and we see it today even with Black Lives Matter and everything like that. People get frustrated and they just like, we're sick and tired of this shit, so they just fight. And I really appreciate that being featured in this movie, but it kind of seems
it was clumsy.
Like, it's really the way they handle it is very, very clumsy in my opinion. The whole thing is clumsy. It doesn't know what it wants.
No, you're so very right.
I didn't love that one of the more prolonged scenes in this was him getting beaten by the cops. Like obviously this, like, it's a reality, it's something that happened, but it was like specifically showing him,
not the others.
No one else. Like we actually see the aftermath of Ray getting the shit beaten out of him, and like
it's because we want to draw sympathy towards the crime on white people.
Exactly. And it's like, I'd feel much more sorry for tiny, like, delicate little Ray than I do for like this fucking football player getting the snot kicked out of him. Like, obviously, 100%. And I don't know, it was just very salacious the way it was done. It was really upsetting, and it's fine if that's what you want to do with the movie, but it was one scene and then that was it. They were like, this community experienced violence. Look what happened to this nice white boy.
Yeah,
That was it.
absolutely.
I mean, it could. I wish they had handled that very differently.
Yeah, same.
You can totally do a gay bashing scene that's traumatizing and yet informative at the same time.
Exactly.
Like
this was not it.
I know this is probably a very controversial opinion about this movie. I'm just going to bring up for a split second, but like in It Chapter 2, when they did that gay bashing scene,
Scary.
it comes from the book, and Stephen King had put it in there because he had heard about what happened in another town in Maine and was completely disgusted by it, and he wanted to show the perilous evils of mankind, treating each other differently and like this, and how, and everyone was like taking away from it, like, oh, the trauma and this, and this is only going to further bashing and stuff. And I'm like, if you look at what's the themes of this movie, of what's going on, is that Pennywise represents the evils of humanity, and therefore Stephen King is pointing out and saying homophobia is evil by doing, especially toward violence towards LGBT people. Now, if we circle around to like the Stonewall and that bashing, the cops are just doing it for what reason? Just to make, as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted. Okay, so how like definitely back in like chapter 2 of It, like you can sort of see like the parallels of like the evil of humanity. But like when you go up to Stonewall and you don't see any motivation besides, ooh, look at the cops being bad, but then look at the cops being victims later on. Like why?
Some cops are bastards.
Right. Some, at least half. And I love, oh my God, it's just like, I think it was completely pointless to include because like, at least the way that they did it, like it just seemed so off the cuff, like, oh yeah, remember this is a gay movie.
Remember, it was hard for everyone to be gay, guys, not just the people of color.
But as we've seen in film, we can totally do a tasteful gay bashing scene and still get your point across like really well. But this movie did not do that. It was literally like, how can we make this movie, look good to the straight people? Because we want to.
Yeah, why should they feel sorry for these people because they have to turn to sex work to earn a living? Let's just show them also getting the snot kicked out of them. That'll really
ring it home.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's sort of like, okay, guys, we've leaned pretty hard on the white guilt recently. We should let the white people have a bit of a break. They'd have had a rough couple of years of being told they've been wrong for thousands of years. Let's just with Stonewall, with this really fucking important name, let's just back off the white people for being so incredibly vile. Yeah.
That's like this movie. It could have been labeled like anything else, and it would have been fine. It would have been fine. But like the way they marketed this movie was specifically to bring historical awareness to Stonewall for the gays. At least that's how they marketed it. And then the news started creeping out after about. And we're like, who the fuck is that? Like, who the fuck is
Where's Marsha?
Where's Marsha? Marsha. Where the fuck is she?
No, it's you're so right. And I mean, it's crazy because if you think about it, like I was looking at the poster for this beforehand, and it's it's the pink background and it's the black and white photo of the gang, the Christopher Street gang, like doing their can. And I was just thinking, like, how juxtapositioned this is between sort of the title Stonewall and then these guys having fun on the front cover of this movie. And I was really confused, and I was like, okay, cool. I guess this is sort of like to try and make people go and see it and think it's like a really fun movie, and then they'll get in and it's gonna be fucking horrific. But then you get in and you're like, oh wait, no.
The thing about the can thing,
that did happen.
It happened at the uprising, and it was actually it was in the article, the Queen Bees Are Singing Mad. article when it talked about the police accounts of a group of gays, a line of them just lining up, drag queens, trans queens, even just like, you know, the white kids or whatever, just doing the can together.
Great.
Which is actually
I mean, also,
great.
what a great title for an article.
Right.
What a great title.
Oh man. Okay, well let's move on to scenes that could have saved it then, because I feel like we could really spend a couple hours just talking about the sort of pitfalls of this movie.
Yeah.
Is that a deep Ted?
Yeah, this is where you and I go out later and we're just gonna reminisce about this.
Just
Simone can come
together.
Simone can come too.
It's fine. It's fine.
We'll
I know.
send it to the wrong
I know when I'm
restaurant.
being a third wheel. I know. Okay. I know. Not my first time.
Oh dang!
Not my first rodeo.
Right. So Justin, what is your scene that could have saved it? You can go first today.
Oh God. You know what? I wish all of the scenes could, you know, they could just change it to like just have feature Ray as the main character.
Yes.
Just follow his life or her life. I don't know what they intended for this character, whether that this character was going to be trans or cis, because they had Ray as Ray
or Ramona.
And then they kept talking. The way she presents herself is womanly, like very womanly. But then they call her by a male pronoun. So I'm really confused by what. Like, this is like what was problematic about this movie too, is that with part of its identity issues is like that character. I love her attitude and I love the way that she was written. I think she was the most powerful character in the whole movie.
Definitely.
Oh yeah. That scene where she's being
she
beaten
carried
up
this movie on her delicate shoulders.
I would just watch the whole movie with her in it, but the thing is that this movie is transphobic as fuck. So as you can tell, because apparently the streets are confused about pronouns. So we should just be like, what the fuck? Like, that's my scene saver. Just Ray and everything.
Absolutely, completely agree. We followed the wrong person in this, straight up. Yeah. Simone.
I'd probably take out the scene at the end where he like goes home and like gets closure from everyone around him. I mean, except his dad, like that was never gonna happen. But like he goes and he talks to like his high school sweetheart guy who he blew in a car, but had feelings for. And like he's like, you know, I'm doing fine, and the guy's like, oh yeah, you know, if I'd known there would be acceptance for us, maybe things would be different. And it's like, I don't think that's how that conversation would have gone in real life at all. But cool.
That scene
this guy with heavily
like...
internalized homophobia is gonna cry and hug his old boyfriend.
That scene reminded me of like he had been away from home in the military or some shit and just like was like, remember those times? Walk away into the sunset bullshit.
It was bizarre. Like he literally showed up, talked to his ex, hung out with his sister for 5 minutes, and then was like, okay, cool, be seeing you guys. Everything's going great for me. It is 1970 and the gay community has won.
Yeah, it was such a weird little scene. Like that almost feels like someone who returns to their high school way after they've graduated just to be like, look how great I'm doing, guys. And clearly because you're coming back to visit your high school, you're not doing that great. And it just felt like that. Like I get he would go and see his sister. That makes complete sense. But why would you go see the guy who ruined your life? Like that can only end badly. Like he only wants to hurt himself. That is very, very clear. And like the same when he goes after his dad at the end, like he had such like that was such a powerful moment, and it could have been really good if he had just like kept walking. Like he turned around, saw that it was his dad, and then was like, nah, fuck it, and then turned around. Great scene, like really strong. But no, he's just like, oh daddy, I love you, I must chase after you, and then the dad runs off. No, he just like he's a sucker for punishment, and it gross.
Yeah. And then you know what? He doesn't get to stay friends with Ray, actually.
No.
Because he did
because
off.
She's too good for him.
She's too good for him. No one deserves her.
Straight up.
Also, Danny did fuck off. He was like, "Yeah, I got into Columbia, so I'll be seeing you guys. Bye. Best of luck to you."
Yeah, unbelievable work. For me, I just wish they had called it something different, man. Like, if you're gonna
Yeah.
call it Stonewall, make it a film about the Stonewall riots. I was expecting we just said that we were gonna do this, I was expecting it to be like a proper investigation of like the 3 days, the three essential days of the Stonewall riots. And going through that sort of like a war movie where they're in the trenches and they're doing all this kind of shit, and that would have been really cool. But instead, we got what we got, and yeah, I just wish they had either called it something else or focused on Stonewall. Like, it's outrageous. Like, there's no connection there, and it's upsetting. Yeah.
No, I agree. When I heard that like the movie was gonna feature a like white cisgender dude, I was like, okay, like maybe that's like the entry point. Like maybe he shows up onto Christopher Street, but then like, he's just like the character that like is asking all the questions and is like, oh, what's this? But then like he's hanging out with like all of the people who were central to the movement, and we learn about them through him. And that's not what happened at all.
No. Oh man.
Oh god.
So I can take it just as a universal thing that none of us would watch this again, right?
No.
Why?
No. What would be the point of this except to upset yourself more?
Roland Emmerich can pry my money from my cold dead hands. Like,
yeah,
this is my reaction.
Yeah, that's a straight up good reaction.
pretty
Yeah,
much.
absolutely. Yeah, I think I think the only time that you would watch this again or make anyone watch this is to show them how bad being how bad representation is. For how to let down your community as a gay director.
I think the director has internalized homophobia. That's what I think.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think that came through very clearly. Let me make a movie about a pivotal moment in my community by centering
taking
centering
a big hot
men.
dump on it. Right. And talking of big hot dumps, shall we now talk about another gay movie?
I am so excited for this because, oh my god, this movie, guys.
Can I say I did not expect to see Graham Norton this morning, and
Oh man, right?
there he was.
Oh, it was great.
What accent was he trying to go for?
Bulgarian?
Is it German or Russian?
No, it was supposed to be like Eastern European.
Yeah,
they tried
I thought
to
it was
look up
like
the
Eastern
country he
Europe.
was from at the beginning of the movie, and
what's
it was
England?
Eastern
Where's Ireland? I don't understand. Like, how does that work? Is that Belgium? Yeah,
they were
fuck
just
it. It's
like
close
they
enough.
were just like, Graham, you cannot be Irish for this. I'm so sorry. It's not as sexy.
So they blindfolded him, spun him around, and he just pointed at the first country.
Basically.
Yeah.
I think my reaction to seeing Graham Norton in this movie was definitely like, it was, oh, look, it's Graham Norton. Oh, Graham, no.
Oh,
Graham, no.
Graham.
Apparently, he's from Belgium.
Outrageous. Okay. All right. Let's talk this. This is the story of 4 gay teenagers trying to lose their virginities during the summer before they go off to college. You have Andy, played by Michael Carbonaro, Nico, played by Jonah Blechman, Jared, played by Jonathan Chase, and Griff, played by Mitch Morris. On the day they graduate from high school, they make a pact that by the time of their friend Muffler's end of summer party, they will have lost their virginities. Muffler is played by Ashley Atkinson. As you can imagine, in their journey to manhood, lots of shenanigans ensue. Andy is super in love with one of his teachers from high school, and now that he is no longer a student, he decides to go for it. His teacher, played by Graham Norton, is particularly visible on all of the online gay chat rooms. So Andy hunts him down and starts to talk to him. Things go horribly wrong when Andy goes over to his house and realizes that his teacher is into a lot of kinky stuff that Andy, as a novice, has no idea how to handle. Eventually, Andy has enough and runs away, scared for his life. He never actually has sex with his teacher, so he remains a virgin. Nico is an adorable...
Okay.
We'll get into it because I have I'm gonna get on my high horse, so we're gonna talk about this. So Nico is an adorable little twink who tries to make it with a bunch of high-powered individuals and a couple of celebrities. But every time he gets close, something goes terribly wrong. For example, he organizes a date with this super hot buff banker, but before they can get down to it, the banker collapses from a drug overdose. Later, Nico tries to hook up with the winner from the first season of Survivor, but after taking 3 consecutive enemas, he is toilet bound and cannot do the deed. He too remains a virgin. Jared seems to be one of the most likely to get across the mark. He is tall, handsome, and incredibly athletic. Unfortunately, he has a small penis and he is very self-conscious about this. He also tries to continuously make out that he's a top, but he secretly wants to be a bottom. So he goes on a couple dates and occasionally gets close, but something is always stopping him from going all the way. He also remains a virgin. Finally, we have Griff. He has 2 problems. First, he thinks he has a small ass, so no man would ever want him. And secondly, he is completely in love with Jared, but Jared cannot see it and doesn't want him. After attending some dance classes to try and grow his butt, he starts to get intimate with his dance instructor. Unfortunately, because he is so in love with Jared, he can never go all the way. He is still a virgin. So it's the night of Muffler's party. All 4 guys are still virgins. They decide all to go for broke. Nico sneaks upstairs and stumbles upon Muffler's grandfather. He is this super hot old gay, and they spend the night talking about Liza and eventually spend the night not talking at all. He loses his virginity. After Jared disappears with his date to go have sex with him in one of Muffler's many rooms, Griff storms in and confesses his love for Jared. Jared realizes that he's been in love with Griff the whole time, and that's why he could never go through with it. Jared kicks out his date, and Griff and him end up making passionate love all night. They both lose their virginities. For Andy, it looks like there's no hope. That is, until he runs into both Jared and Griff's scorned dates. They tell him what happened, and they decide to have a threesome. Andy loses his virginity multiple times. The men regroup in the morning and regale each other with the stories. They all go off to college as men. The end.
The end. Chad, what is your cliffhanger?
So it has to be this one, and it's the scene where Andy talks to his now bisexual his bisexual dad in the truck stop bathroom. And I just wanted to include this one because it kind of encapsulates all the really, really, really bad parts about this one, because I mean, we'll put a trigger warning at the beginning of this episode, but it talks about him losing his virginity through rape. And it's just like, fuck, guys, that is not funny.
Rough.
Even in the early 2000s, that's not funny.
Like there is a very distinct lack of consent throughout this movie that I struggled with. But you know what? I want to say at the top, this was the early 2000s. For a lot of straight movies, there was also an astonishing lack of consent.
Yes.
So at least the gay community has their own wildly offensive, wildly sexual, problematic movie. You know, that's equality, guys.
You did it, guys.
That's equality. You've
Yay.
won. Congratulations.
Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished.
Congratulations. And also to prove to the streets that we can be just as crude as you all can be.
And racist. The whole Japanese, the Chinese lady, the Chinese cheerleader thing was deeply upsetting 10 minutes into the movie. I was like, wow, okay, we're really going for it. Damn.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Very much that.
So if you'll both indulge me, I just want to talk about losing one's virginity here for a little while. It's not gonna be okay. So tell us how everyone lost their virginities. Let's go through this quickly. So
I mean, I'm open about it. So
Mine
if
is
you wanna
very
know.
on brand, actually. So we can discuss.
So I have a huge problem with the idea of losing your virginity. It's this idea that you've lost a part of you, when in fact you're actually opening yourself up to this really amazing life experience of sexual exploration.
Choice of words.
Nice.
Sorry.
And
He's saying
I
such
just
beautiful things.
I just feel like it is so unfortunate, and this is the problem around sex as well, is the fact that you're told that you lose your virginity, and it's for men it's this great thing of like, amazing, I'm no longer a virgin, I'm a man now. But for women, you're losing your virginity, you're losing this one thing that makes you pure, and for all of it, it's fucking
My value
nonsense.
did go down.
Yeah, you're a dirty old piece of
significantly.
gum. You've been
Yeah.
chewed. You've been chewed by many people, and so you're just
Okay,
passing
not
it
that
along.
many people. I think I've been chewed by a respectable amount of people.
But the point is that it's not this thing, it's not something that defines you, and the whole idea of, you know, the phrase losing your virginity is just fucking nonsense. It doesn't make you a man having sex with someone. It doesn't
But
make
that's
you
what they
less worth.
learn.
Well, is that what they
This
learn?
is the lesson that they're taught by their very butch lesbian friend. Is like, it
The
doesn't make
true
you.
man
Doesn't
takes it
make
up the
you.
ass.
Yeah.
Chad.
I mean, like, look at me. Do I look like a top to you? Do I look like a top to you?
Doesn't
I'm
matter.
gonna
to me.
step right out of this. I can't be involved. I just really don't know.
But let's move back to the movie now that I've gotten off my high horse, and the whole virginity thing needs to fuck off.
Well, I agree.
Sure.
It's a social construct. It doesn't exist, and it's
Outdated.
It's used as a way to control women's bodies.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I was also
absolutely.
confused. I guess I was going to talk about it. I was also confused at like at what point your virginity has been lost, because in the scene with Graham Norton, and I mean, does it have to be penis, or like, because Andy gets penetrated with several things.
Yeah. It's rough. It's a really rough scene.
Yeah,
I
but he's like,
mean,
oh, I'm still a
understatement.
virgin, and it's like, are you?
Yeah, it's very, very questionable whether he's a virgin at that stage. But this also doesn't do
all
wonderful
personal.
things for the kink community. I mean, a lot of
No.
movies do. I'm not saying it's all on this movie. I mean, I can
No.
think of at least 10 that
Like
just
50
really
Shades. I mean,
50 Shades, the original American Pie, Euro Trip. Also,
Euro
all
Trip,
of these movies do really, really bad things for the kink community. And yeah, I think what's good about this movie is it just offends everyone. Just like, it doesn't leave a single person out. It's just offensive to all.
oh, what did you think? Your face has been
Yeah.
saying a lot.
Confessa's just been very quietly just stewing after the rage.
Okay, so low key, which is going to be high key because this is a podcast and it's going to be broadcast to the world. But I actually really enjoyed watching this movie. It has all the hallmarks of potty humor that I enjoy. It has enough representation that it pokes fun of itself for it, at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to think of this more as a satire on the gay community rather than it
Right.
being like a representation of it, because
Okay.
one of the number one things I heard about for growing up in like high school and stuff was like the argument that gays can't get married or can't have children is
Yeah.
because we're so
Mhm.
hypersexual and all into just fucking everything, and then we'll
Right.
turn the kids gay. And so I love how like this movie, it just makes it so like, gays think about sex just as much as straight people do, but like it satirizes the hypersexual part where they're always getting themselves into like, threesomes everywhere, sex is everywhere, oh, that
Yeah.
fitness instructor, he's also an exotic dancer.
I
It's on his
mean,
business card. That was very progressive.
To
Not
me,
upset about him.
that only happens in Portland and West Hollywood, so
not upset about that private show he gives Griff after their workout. I mean,
Even
could you
me.
imagine? That was so great. Like, I would love that if that was true to life.
Would you?
It's just like this dude who's just like, you want to work out, you've done your workout, you want to go talk to your instructor, and your instructor's just like, yeah, let's fucking do this.
He gets a beat
Incredible.
going.
I will say that like this movie does like it pulls some punches on some jokes. Like it just kind of misses the beat of the joke. But to me, it's all about what the hell is going on in this movie. It's like I actually started like making a list of things I was noticing in this movie. Okay, so in the gay community, especially, we have these things called tribes, where you're like a type of gay, and that's how people would be into those kinds of people. Like,
yeah.
And so what I was like clocking was all the different types of gays I kept seeing. The jock, which was represented, the muscle gay, which the twink, the nerd, the boy next door, the bear, the daddy and son, the sexless drag queen, which I hate, the dom and sub, and then of course like they had the grandpa play. So to me that was a fun little throwback to the different types of gays that exist in the community. But I wish they had a little bit more representation, a little bit more, I guess, color in this movie.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I really wanted to see some more Gaysians, especially the especially Gaysian jocks and Gaysian nerds. They're just my favorite.
Now we know.
I really wish I could have seen more Black gay guys, both feminine and masculine. Like they come on a spectrum. But I do appreciate that they weren't so, I don't know, they allow the representation of the femme queen be a main character of the movie, which I really appreciated. I'm not, I believe toxic masculinity is a big problem in the gay community, and so I really appreciated the fact that there is a feminine twink guy just kind of living his best life, just not giving two shits about what other people think of him. And I just like
blind
you,
girlfriend.
I would just go out for 2 drinks with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's beautiful about this movie, and it's the subtle jokes as well. There's that scene, it's during the Graham Norton kink scene, where he takes a hit of poppers and then he gives it to Andy, and Andy drinks it. That was so fucking funny. Like, that was the best joke of the whole thing. And I guess it also goes to sort of, I think this is what this movie does better. Like, this movie is essentially supposed to be American Pie, but the gay version. And I think this movie is what it does better in the fact that these boys know fuck all of what they're trying to do. Where in the original American Pie, they're like, pretend to know what they do, and it doesn't come across that they're pretending. There's just sort of like, oh, we know how to have sex. Where these guys are just like, I don't know, how does it feel? I don't even know if I'm a bottom or a top. I don't know what I like. The quiche. Oh my god.
When you're growing up gay, you don't really have a lot of people mentoring you about the sex talk, unless your parents are gay, or you have like a gay older cousin or something. But like,
or a cool gay dad that buys you a book on
and
a range.
As someone who didn't have that kind of role model mentor, I was like in their shoes a bit, like when sex was a hot topic, when I was about to lose it, I just didn't know what I would do, what to do. Was that it? Sort of feeling.
No, for sure.
So I totally understand like the whole like knowing fuck all about like being ready for sex. Like they're all like my favorite, although I will have to say that the jock guy, whatever his name is, I forget, but he's pretty.
That's pretty.
Very, very pretty.
I really appreciated that they gave him a little bit extra sensibility rather than just being like the tough muscle, like stupid jock dude. Like he was looking for love and he didn't know that he was looking for love, and he was like, well, how do I know if I'm ready? Like no gay guy knows when they're ready to have sex until it happens to them. So that's just
that was sweet.
It's great. Like, it has those moments, and I thought this movie was going somewhere, and I mean, it speaks again to my scene that could have saved it, is when Griff goes into that sort of dream sequence kind of thing, and he's dressed up as a woman, and I thought he was going to come out as trans. I thought that's where this movie was going. And obviously they didn't go with it, but I was just like, oh my god, is this movie about to get super duper deep and just be like, okay, so he's trans and like this is his transitioning and it's amazing. But it was like his story is still fuck off cute. But yeah, like this movie really had like a weirdly good foundation for something that is so crude and outrageous. It's got these like really great moments of meat that you're just like, good on you. You keep going, you plucky little film.
The bit that made me laugh the hardest was when the guy, he's trying to hook up with the banker, and then the banker has the heart attack, and they're like trying to resuscitate him. It's not going on. And then he jumps up and starts, like, the music starts again, and he starts dancing, and the paramedics are dancing with him. And like, Nico's just like, nope, I'm out. He just leaves.
Yeah,
I appreciated everything about that. Just like, oh, this is actually not my scene. Thank you so much.
It was that scene specifically is how I figured out that it was supposed to take place in West Hollywood, because literally everybody in West Hollywood, California is fucking gay. Yeah, like every single person. And if you're straight, you're actually a minority in that little town. So
Oh.
yeah.
Be nice.
It was like, oh, okay, even the paramedics are gay. Okay, really? That's what they're making fun of. They're making fun of everyone being gay in the whole town.
I also,
Like,
I
every
just
single
loved,
person.
I love the world that this takes place in. Like, they don't have to, like, I mean, like, the one dude, like, comes out to his mom, and she's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I know.
But they just sort of seem to live in this world where, like, yeah, all of us, we're all gay. No one cares. We're just out here trying to get laid. It's this. They have this baseball team where they're like their cute little shorts. And
the
crop tops, and they're
baseball
playing a team full
scene.
of bears and like biker gear. It's so fun.
Fucking great.
I was just like, what a wonderful world. What fun.
Yeah,
I love that the softball team they were called the Bad News Bears. I just like, oh my god, that is just the most adorable name ever.
I want to hang out with them.
Like, I think
I would hang out.
If you took away the sort of like the really bad bits, like the racism, the rape jokes, all that kind of like horrible stuff, like you've actually got quite a cute movie. And even if like some parts are quite gratuitous, like you can forgive it because you've got these little bits there that are just like so perfect and so lovely. And yeah, like it may not have had the budget of American Pie, but you know what? It is actually pretty comparable to that movie in a lot of respects. Yeah, it's a weird one, but it's a good one. Scenes that could have saved it all around. Let's go Simone first because
I actually wanted more of Andy's mom. I loved her. I thought she was so funny. Like every scene she was in, she was perfect. Loved her. Also would have loved to see more Graham Norton. I know he was just a side character, like meant to show that like sometimes you're not ready. Sometimes you get in over your head.
Yeah, a young tan
like,
Graham Norton is the dream.
Very handsome.
Frosted Tips worked on him. No one else.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie just had such great side characters. Like I would have liked to see more of them. I also, this is just me, but like I said before we started, I would have liked a warning of how much penis I was going to see today. I usually only see the one, so like
it's fair.
But isn't it refreshing instead of seeing a bunch of titties?
It's always, yeah, you know what? You're right. I just would have liked a warning. So to anyone who watches it after this, don't watch it with someone. Don't watch it with a parent close by.
Yeah, I could imagine that would be pretty bad. Even though the dad in this is a weird role model, he kind of helps Andy in a very odd way.
It's in the book.
Yeah. And how about you, Confessor? What's your scene?
Well, speaking of being over your head, one of my favorite scene was the Carrie one where
the Carrie.
Oh, that really freaked me out, man.
I wish that they would have used, honestly, go big or go home, because like that was I would almost say that's the perfect amount during a bukkake, but like if you're doing a whole Carrie ripoff. We need to see more.
Yeah.
Honey.
Yeah,
Like,
there,
I get you.
yeah, there was
Yeah.
not
From
there was
head
not
to
enough
toe.
fake cum.
Head to toe, just glistening white pearls, just all over. Just be the cum queen that you are, honey. Let's.
I'd forgotten about that part. It was fantastic. I was like, it's not gonna be blood. Like that's really weird. I wonder what's gonna be in the bucket. And then I was
It's
like,
gonna be cum. It's gonna
of
be cum.
course.
They just needed more of it. I honestly, that's what saved. That
Yeah.
would have saved it for me.
Every year I redo for the beginning of every year I redo the intros to the podcast. I redo
Please
it,
don't.
and I've been doing sound bites. And Simone saying we need more cum is 1000% going to make it
No,
into
Chad, all of
next
our
year.
episodes.
Hey, we
I'll
got
also
you
give
going.
permission to use my voice if you want.
Oh, we probably will. We'll get both of you just talking about cum, and that'll just be like 5 minutes of the intro. So yeah, my scene that could have saved it is definitely on Griff being trans. Like I think they really had the good opportunity there to be like, oh yeah, you know, he is actually secretly trans. He still wants to be with Jared, but you know, have some of that type of representation as well, which would be lovely. And it's just sort of like his journey coming to grips with being in love with Jared, but also being trans in that, and Jared accepting him at the end and being like, oh, this is actually really cool. I've always wanted you, and I don't care, you know, how what you want as long as you're happy. That's all I care about. And they fall in love and it's magical and everything's perfect.
And then they still have sex by the pool.
Yeah.
Well, that relationship is not going to last because they're going to college.
No, definitely not.
They even said so.
Yeah. At least they're realistic.
But they're gonna meet up for spring break. So
they're going to
that'll be
meet up at
fun and
spring break to see
complicated.
how many people they can sleep with. That's my guess anyway.
It's all about the revertigo. It's all about the
Love story for the
backslide.
ages.
That's why you go home, isn't it? You go home to go and have sex with the people who you used to have sex
You
with.
should not
Dead
have
oi.
sex with anyone.
Wow, are you just like reading into me or what's going on?
Okay,
You're like, oh yeah, remember
when
when we used to boink 10 years ago? Well, I'm back, honey.
that
Yeah, we should
funny?
see how things have changed, you know.
Right.
Look at the new positions I know now.
I've learned a thing or two.
Look at how much better I've gotten.
Would we watch this again? How's everyone feeling?
I would.
I probably wouldn't, but I don't like.
Million
I just like
times
this
I
isn't my
would.
genre. Like, I don't
Yeah.
enjoy American Pie. I don't enjoy
Mhm.
it's not my vibe.
No, I've got to agree with you, but I think if it was a situation where, you know, people were like, would you watch, you know, it's American Pie or this, it's going to be another gay movie. I would not really care much for watching American Pie again, but this, I think it's just, there are bits in this that make me laugh. There is nothing in American Pie that makes me laugh.
No.
Just straight
American
up.
Pie used to make me laugh when I was in middle school, but then I went and watched it again and I was like, oh my God.
Oh, no.
No, oh no.
So thank you so much for joining us today. This has been a really fun episode. Have you had fun?
Oh yeah, I think I actually had more fun this time than last time, I think, because
Aw.
the last time, because it was my first time on, I didn't know what to expect, and I think I was really nervous, even in drag. But I feel like the second time now has been even better because like I'm not as nervous. So
I would hope not.
I mean, isn't that the story of losing one's or entering one's sexual exploration? You know, it's the first time you're
got the
nervous,
first time
don't know
out of the
what
way.
know what's going on, and then that second time you're just a bit more comfortable because everyone knows what's
Ease
going on.
into it, man.
Everyone knows
I
where
just
everything goes.
I just can't wait to do another Halloween episode in drag though. So
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so excited for Halloween.
It's gonna
I know
be
it's only June, but I'm so excited.
I wish it was Halloween all year.
Me too.
I was not looking forward to that. Would love to live in like a Shudder world or like a Castle Rock world where it's just horror all the time.
Like
One
Halloween
day,
Town.
This is just gonna become a horror podcast. Like it's inevitable.
We're delaying it. We're trying so very hard
Yeah.
to delay it, but they're sneaking in. Well, yes. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Let's do gratitudes. What is everyone's gratitudes? Let's start with Confessa. Why not?
Okay, let's see here. I am grateful for this beautiful weather in Vermont. It's nice and
there you go.
sunny. Right now it's 75 degrees outside, and it's nice. And I think I'm also thankful for my friends that are going to be tuning in, and my friends who invited me on to talk with them.
That's us.
That's us.
That's us.
Oh yeah, wait, I was talking about those other people that invited me
Oh.
on.
Yeah, we thought so. We're not that
Fine.
good.
It happens all the time. It's fine.
Oh, that's so lovely. It's so lovely, and that you've settled in back home and everything has just been so nice. And yeah, it's good to see you thriving. We love to see it when our friends are thriving. It's really nice.
Yeah.
How about you, Simone? What's your gratitude for the week?
I feel kind of bad following up after that.
Hey, I
was
have
gonna
fuck all.
say-
I'm waiting to like for some inspiration to hit because I have nothing.
Oh
So
no!
go for
Oh, I was gonna say pies.
Or quiche.
Not quiche.
Never quiche.
Not quiche ever again.
Quiche is overrated at best as well. Like it's fine. It's fine. No pies, but also because obviously like we were a colony, so we do savory pies.
Mhm.
I had a spinach and feta pie that like made
Ooh.
my whole day today. Yeah, like just
Mm.
what a perfect vessel, fluffy
Mhm.
pastry, and then inside just whatever like filling you can cram in there, get some cheese up in there, get some Worcestershire sauce on it. Tasty. Love it.
Wow, you're
That's
just saying
grand.
all the right things to me right now.
Worcestershire is the right thing.
Worcestershire. Yeah, say that 5 times.
I think it's
sexily.
pronounced Worcestershire.
I
Yeah.
refuse.
It's Worcester sauce.
Worcester sauce.
That's it. It's not Worcestershire. It's just Worcester.
Yeah.
Because this
Worcester.
country is the
That's
most
the-
ridiculous
that's
country.
the
There is a
town.
village here, Justin, called Cat
here.
and Fiddle.
There's a
Oh.
village here called Cat and Fiddle.
Yeah,
Good
in the UK,
lord.
there is a village in sort of the Midlands called the Cat
Of
and
course,
Fiddle.
it's in the Midlands.
I
And
want
the
to go
per-
there.
It's
Maybe you can see
an
a cat
adorable
on a-
little town.
Playing a fiddle.
Well, you do on the pub sign because there is a pub
Of course.
called the Cat and Fiddle in Cat and Fiddle, and it's the only
Yeah.
pub in Cat and Fiddle. It's
I
an
went to a
outrageous.
great
place.
pub this week called the
Mhm.
2 and Sixpence.
Oh,
Mm.
that
Yes.
sounds lovely.
Yes,
What made
it's
it a
like
great pub?
proper old school pub. You know, you're like the
Mhm.
youngest person there by 20 years. There are a bunch
Oh,
of like
yeah.
sports crests on the walls. Oh, it was great. It was great.
That sounds lovely. That sounds.
Well, I guess I
fantastic.
better plug in my local hotspot before the
Yes.
Vermonters get mad at
Yeah,
me.
do
if
it.
they ever... Since everyone's
You gotta.
talking about the local hotspots. Let's see here. There's a lot of places.
What's your favorite though? You gotta.
Well, over here, and I'm actually in a little town called Winooski, where
Winooski.
apparently the intention was to turn it into a dome city. So that's why it's really tiny. It's literally like a shape of a circle.
That's so
So-
cool.
And even though we're technically our own town, what happened was that the two towns of Burlington and Colchester got together and said, hey, let's do this thing. And they're like, cool, you know? And so now there's this little bar. It's called The Last Stop. And I've been there
Cute.
once.
Cute.
And it's cute. And it was open during COVID because Vermont is the #1 safe state in the country.
Huh.
Wow.
And we're the #1 most vaccinated in the country as well.
Nice.
Wow.
Congrats.
Things are completely open again. And I'm fully vaccinated, and I haven't
Nice.
died yet, or am I? We could have like
You're a ghost.
we could have recorded this like a month ago.
Are you more
before I-
magnetic now?
before I
Well,
got
I'm-
vaccinated.
I must say, I got my vaccination yesterday, and the service here is incredible right now. Like it is
Oh.
really
Oh,
helped.
really? Just straight to the brain.
For. I'm just gonna erase my thankfulness and be like, I'm thankful for COVID vaccines.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
straight up.
One
up.
day I
Everyone-
will be too.
You'll join us in this world, Simone.
Love
Once
being in a
eventually.
third world country.
Once you live through all the variants that are taking place.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's great.
It's
super
great.
cool. We're so lucky.
But to our listeners, if you haven't gotten the vaccine yet, but you are able to get the vaccine, please do go get it. Like,
Do it.
don't fuck
Yes,
around.
it's a
You know,
giant
if
privilege, actually.
exactly. It's like voting. You should just do it. These are things, you know, it's your right, and it's a privilege to have that opportunity, and fucking do it. Just do it. I don't know how it was for you, Confessor, but for me, like, my arm's a little bit sore. I didn't really have any other side effects or anything. Like, I've been absolutely fine yesterday and today. So it's not sore. Like, fuck, just do it. It's like someone punched you in the arm. That's as bad as it got for me. I don't know about you.
Well, my first shot it just left a lot of soreness. That's it. But my second shot, I had some side effects, but nothing I couldn't handle. So
yeah,
you
exactly.
Team Pfizer, Team Moderna. What are you working with?
Oh, I had a Moderna. The
Oh,
Moderna.
I'm in the Pfizer camp, so obviously we have to hate each other now.
Must be
Yeah, that's
nice.
just the
I
rule.
think I'll probably end up getting the Johnson & Johnson one.
Ooh,
Oh my God.
one
The
shot
Johnson-
stop.
I know people who got the Johnson & Johnson, the one-stop
Apparently
shop
it
for
fucks you up.
true horror, if you want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it really kicks your
Apparently
ass.
it messes with your period, which is so exciting.
Oh, that's gonna be really fun for you. We're gonna think you're pregnant.
Yeah, one of the side effects they don't talk about that much is your uterus.
Definitely clear your schedule for about 2 days. That's why.
Awesome. I'm so excited.
I am grateful this week for fathers, because it is Father's Day here in the UK, Daddy's Day. And
yeah,
it's
Father's
really
Day.
nice.
Oh, here too.
Oh, nice. It's really nice. Dads are great. Yeah, just really grateful for my dad. He's a great guy, even though he loves the cats more than me, which was discussed today at lunch. Which you can imagine. But yeah, really happy to have a dad, and happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, because you rock.
And to the gays who don't have daddies, it's okay. We still love you.
Yeah,
To all the dads and all the daddies.
Just watch another gay movie. You'll be feeling fine.
All the daddies.
Talk about butt sex and have lots of butt sex in spite of him.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
We at Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast, endorse this message.
We love supporting butt sex. Just go out.
Stamp of approval. There.
Safe, sane, consensual kids.
Yes, that is what is important. Right. Well, Simone, for next week, you have an option. I want to bring you some options, okay?
Christ.
All right, here we go. So you can choose from Gerard Butler week, animated movies from our childhood week, or the Keira Knightley week.
You have to do the Brave Little Toaster if you do the childhood animation. You have to.
I think it scored too highly. It scored too highly.
I know,
sure
but you
did.
It did.
So where are you? Gerard, Keira, or
I have such a
childhood?
big crush on Gerard, but I also have such a big crush on Keira.
A lot of choice. This is Sophie's choice. This is what I'm giving you.
Oh my God. This is the same
we'll do
exact.
all-
This is the exact
Are we
Sophie's
gonna
choice
do
that
all
they
three? What am I
warned us
talking
about.
about? Let's do Gerard.
We're gonna do Gerard
Let's-
Butler week.
Let's
which
throw
means...
it back to my boy, one of my first crushes. After I watched Phantom of the Opera.
That is so not in keeping with you. Problematic gruff men.
I was.
very-
I know
how
it's very
off-brand.
unusual for me. Men who are angry.
Are you looking for remember that rom-com? It was like P.S. I Love You, starring Gerard Butler.
Oh,
Yes.
it was what's it called? Truth About Love, I think it was
Ugly
called.
Truth.
Ugly Truth, yeah.
Yes,
But
I
no,
enjoyed that.
we're gonna do Geostorm and Phantom of the Opera, two very diametrically opposed movies.
Geostorm.
Yeah, that's the
Geostorm.
one where there's fucking asteroids falling and he saves his family with his beard.
Is that not Greenland? Is that the one that came out this year?
1 second there, caller. Geostorm. You are correct. Geostorm
You've
is
made up
something
the
completely
movie
different.
name in your head.
No, it's because Geostorm is almost identical. It's a giant wave end of the world movie, so it's almost identical to Greenland. So yeah, it will.
Well, I
it will
told
be
you,
identical.
giant meteors is my preferred apocalypse, so this is right up my alley.
Okay, wait. So do you want to do Greenland or do you want to do Geostorm now?
Greenland?
Okay, we'll do Greenland now. I'm glad we're
I'm
so
very
professional
excited
we
to
have
do
this
Phantom of the Opera. It was quite
Oh,
a
yeah.
goth awakening for me.
Oh man, this is
Simona's a goth. Oh my god.
Ugh, I
Please
was
tell
not
me.
good
it's
at
her-
it.
it's her vibe.
Look at
It's
the
her
shirt.
vibe.
Does this look like the shirt of someone who's good at being a goth?
I kind of dabbled into gothhood like a little bit in high school. I, had
think
the
I was-
black lipstick. I had the
Oh,
eyeliner.
beautiful.
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool. I did buy a lot of black jewelry at Claire's. So I had
Mm.
like the choker with
Ooh.
like the keys.
Oh yes,
Um,
you did. Of course you did.
Oh yeah. Oh,
What a vibe.
it was sad. I was not good at it.
Well, on that note, thank you guys so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. You guys are amazing as fans, and I hope you guys had a really good Pride Month. I hope you shared the love, because that is what it is all about, is that love is universal. We all love everyone, and everyone should be loved in return. And if you want to share that love, please do share it wherever you can, and share it with us. And where can they do that, Simone?
They can
Terrible
tell us all
intro.
about it on Facebook or Instagram at Fresh Tomatoes Podcast, on Twitter at Fresh Tomatoes MP. They can email us special secret love letters at freshtomatoespodcast@gmail.com. Please don't do that. It scares us.
I would love that. No. Ignore what Simone
Okay,
said. Send us secret
you're
love
single,
letters.
sorry.
That's also true. You have a good point. And how about you, Confessor? Do you want to plug stuff? I mean, that poor choice of words, but
Right. The shameless butt plug-in. All right. So, if you're interested in joining our writing circle / little amateur competition, we're going to be accepting signups for Cycle 3 later this year. But you can also join our Discord server, where you can talk with the writers, people who competed in there for the last 2 cycles. We're starting up critique groups now, and everything like
That's
that. The link can be found at our Reddit page on a thread. There's a link there. It's open link. Just
we'll include it below, guys.
Yeah, just introduce yourself and just be patient, and we'll approve you.
Oh, that's lovely. That's good. That's really, really good. And I will definitely be joining the 3rd cycle when it comes around later this year. I feel very FOMO about this, so I
can't wait to help you get
out of
published
entering.
now.
So,
were there like any viewers aware that some of the stories you got published were the stories you wrote for Murder
I don't know
House?
if I've been explicit about it, guys.
No,
both of the stories I got published, I wrote while I was competing in Murder House.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go.
I'm very excited for you, because like she's like getting all of her winning pieces published.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it's
pretty
a
much. If
one-stop
I won a
shop.
round, then I'm like, okay, I'll submit this one.
That's the one.
So I encourage anybody who won a challenge on Murder House, if you're plugging in, to try to submit your winning stories. See if you can get it in, because Simone is being quite successful in it. So
surprisingly so, yes.
It's amazing.
I'm not
You're a good
surprised.
writer. Yeah,
I'm very
not
happy
surprised.
for
You're
you.
an incredible writer. Come on.
No, I'm very happy. I was just like, oh, okay.
She's like, I'm being modest.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening. And as we say at the end of every episode, we love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
We love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Do it.
Can I say it? We love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Oh, goodbye.
That means all the gays.
Bye.
All the gays.